excited about the little realtor's lick. Not his flat feet. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I have cash, but maybe if you give me 2.5% with no fees, take your cash. Call Carolyn. I love streamlines, FHA streamline refinances, VAs. For me, it's just like cakewalk. It's cool, you know.
What is an FHA?
FHA streamline is the government. If you have an FHA or VA loan, and you're at 5% a few years ago, and rates come down to 3.5%, 3.25%, 3%, depending on the week right now. Even if you owe more on your house than it's worth, we don't take appraisal nor value into consideration, and we can lower them to current market rates. They don't have any closing costs. They don't get this. Well, I take that back. Owner occupied only. FHA and VA loans are only. So, no. Huh?
Owner occupancy is like 3 months or 6 months.
6 months they have to be in the house before you can streamline it, but usually, you know, you're not here, because it usually takes maybe 3/4 to a point and a quarter to justify or have it make sense to refinance. But if you're, the way the government sees it, I think, on these types of loans, if somebody's going to improve their situation as far as monthly outgo, it's going to lessen the likelihood of default and foreclosure, and it helps everybody. So, and the way it works is usually on a refinance, you add the closing cost of the loan amount, but people get to skip 1 month's payment. They're happy, happy, joy, joy. They just tack $8 grand onto their principal balance, but who cares? My payment went down 180 bucks, and they're a happy camper. With FHA, it doesn't work that way. We're not allowed to raise the loan amount. We have to do that stupid worksheet. I don't do it. I have staff. I don't even look at a point file. Wait till you see how I roll. I'll sell it to you for $2 grand. No, but it's a neat little system. You'll appreciate more than anyone in the room. But being a mortgage and realtor girl, you know. But anyways, the way you structure streamlines is you don't get to skip 1 month's payment, but your loan amount's not going to increase. I'm going to pay your closing costs for you. Instead of getting to skip 1 month's payment, you're going to bring in an amount between $500 and that $1,600 a month current mortgage payment into escrow as like that month's payment. And then evermore after that month, your payment's cheaper. So instead of $1,600, you're going to have $500 to $1,000 mortgage payment, let's say, but it's really cash to close, brought into escrow. And then starting the following month, you're going to be saving $70 to $120, $150, depending on the loan amount. Sometimes a couple $100 if it's a $400 grand, you know, loan amount or whatever. So it's really a neat thing. That's for VA and FHA people, you know, even if they're upside down. So think of your friends and family. Think of Brandon. Yes.
Do you have to provide income documentation?
None. Streamline, huge, great, important point and question. No income qualified, no value of the property qualified. You got red blood, they do care about credit score. No, they don't actually. I can go to First Mortgage Corporation, there's a Pacific Union Financial, there's a handful of entities that will do mortgage only, where I just extrapolate the mortgage rating from the credit report onto a supplement and submit that sucker. I mean, I'm doing one right now for a guy that has a conventional foreclosure in 2011. And there's banks out there that won't care about LexisNexis or the capers that come back, and will lend them the money and let them reduce. It's not owner-occupied too. I didn't know until last year you can do non-owner-occupied FHA streamlines, but there's a big point hit, you know, point and a half hit to the rebate.
No, I asked that because I just, I have a client, I just wrote an offer on a house tonight that they want to buy, and they want to do an FHA streamline on a refi for their condo.
That they're currently in.
That they're currently in, they've been in it for 2 years.
Tell them to do it before they close on this one. Because then it becomes non-owner occupied FHA streamline, and they're not going to get as good of a rate. That's just the truth. They can still do it after they move in. But if you're going to have a 30, 45 day close,
yeah, we might have a longer close. So, okay.
I could wrap their current streamline before they close, and just give no knowledge statement underwriting.
Yeah, I didn't know the logistics of it.
It even would, if it's real tight debt ratios and they're approved for 620, but they want to go 640 grand, and the mortgage guy you had sent them to said, oh no, they're already at a 55.9 bottom ratio, or whatever the case may be. They're not going. But if you lower the house they're currently in, then they could buy even more than what they're going to buy.
Right.
From an income to debt ratio standpoint.
So it's taking this long to get in the house.
Realtors work hard. That's why it's so important to make sure you get your people pre-qualified the right way. Yes.
Is this streamline thing a new thing? And if it
Been
is,
around forever.
okay.
Yeah, people just don't know. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. No, it's always been around.
No, I'm saying.
Has it been around since '81? I don't know. I've been in the business
It's been
14
around a
years.
long time.
It's been around a long time. Yeah. No, it has. That's a fact. It's, yeah.
So is
For
Streamline,
VA also, and VAs are even better, easier.
is Streamline usually with your current mortgage company?
No. If your current mortgage company is a big bank servicer, remember what I said about the most conservative and highest rates. That was not BS. That is a fact. So she knows as a broker, she can whoop everybody unless she goes up against another broker. And then we can whittle each other down to where it's like, you want to work for that much? Okay, no. And then you bow out. And, you know, if me and her went up against each other, eventually, either I'd have a source that beats her best source for that type of product, and I win, or vice versa, or we just beat each other up until we're like, take it. Take it, you can have that type of client, and you can work for $1,000, you know, go ahead.
So can you wait to do the FHA streamline? I mean, can you do it while they're in escrow? On the
Yes.
Property?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, I just
sorry.
shouldn't know about it.
No, I know.
Fine, but I don't care. I don't care, yeah, as long as it can close and pop in the county records and get me on.
Concurrent would be the best.
No, close it before they close.
Before the other version.
Don't you think? Why go concurrent?
Credit and then the other things.
The other bank will only see that they improved their financial situation and lowered their monthly payment though. You can be fully honest, the bank is doing the financing, because all they did was improve their situation.
I'm kind of confused because if they're not checking on your income, if you're not proving by some documentation, aren't we going back to the same?
No, we're not, because no matter what, they have a mortgage at a rate of 5%, and they owe X amount of money, regardless of what's happened and who's on the mortgage. If they can lower that monthly payment, the likelihood of them getting foreclosed on and defaulting diminishes.
Right, but don't.
Therefore, the whole country's better. The more houses we save from foreclosure and people we keep out of bankruptcy. And for example, maybe they got remarried, and the person they remarried is not on the note here, and he has other real estate and equity holdings that he doesn't want to get involved in his spouse's situation. I have a lot of borrowers, been married forever, but they still keep their assets, properties, and whatnot separate. Even file separate taxes, some of them, because they don't want one spouse's situation affecting the others. Talking about the healthiest marriages, but you know, I've never seen those marriages work where they split the cost of stamps and whatnot. But there are out there. There are couples. You get an engineer and accountant that are married that are really frugal. Yeah.
Do you assist in transferring mortgages from personal entities into business entities?
No. That's easy enough to do. I mean, do that online, or Dan knows how to do that. You mean, I guess I don't fully understand the question, but I know I don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you mean take the deed or title to a house and you want to put it in a trust or an LLC, well, that's real simple. But I don't do that. No, I charge way too much if I did. But no, it wouldn't make sense for me to do it, you know, hourly rate on it. Jumbo mortgages, I love them, I do them, and now I'll move on to my favorite part. And I'm just going to show my little system of how I do what I do, and yeah, and it'll shed, and it's life changing. It changed my life. It really did. The system and the way I operate, and I probably wouldn't be in this industry if it wasn't for it. It's a stressful job. You know, God bless the mortgage people you work with. They work hard, and it can be a stressful, hellish job if you don't have the right system, staff, and procedures, or if you're at the wrong bank. You know, you work at B of A, good luck on servicing a realtor, and you're a dummy realtor if you're going to big banks, in my opinion. You really are. Unless you like getting declined in 45, 60-day closes. So this section is, you know, is your loan officer serving you? How much money is your loan officer costing you? Over the years, I have found, from what has been conveyed to me by agents, the most important things in life are updating listing agent, buyer agents, the buyers throughout the process. So in my system, and this isn't something I'll show you, but we email the listing agent, the buyer's agent, and the client when we submit the loan for approval, when we order the appraisal, when we receive the appraisal, when we get the loan approval, when docs go out, when it funds and records. It keeps the listing agents from calling my buyer agents, keeps them from calling me, keeps everyone happy and warm and fuzzy and informed, and it's the most important things to the realtors and clients. Communication and relationships are everything. You guys all want to get rich? You all want to invest in whatever you want to invest in? I've invested in a few things. The hard money in real estate. That's all I could really tell you. Anything on earth you could want to know. Simple style. I don't know the discounted notes and what that is, but it intrigues me. Anytime I hear discounted notes on something with equity, sounds good. But it's all relationships. I feel when I was side tangent, because I get so much time. Oh, I'm almost out of time. Okay,
Goes
yeah,
fast.
It does go fast. When I was 25, I started interviewing millionaires, and I asked them all the same 7 questions. Most important of those questions in the fullness of time was, what 3 books have you read in your life that most influenced, impacted, affected you, and made you the person you are today? I now own all those books. I'm about a 25 gigabyte audiobook collection, recommended from a lot of different millionaires. And I'll give them to anyone for free. I have them on external hard drives. I drop them on. But the Bible on how to be a good person, especially if you're a gifted, gab, natural, badass salesman, and I kind of am. I'm good at sales. I always was my whole life. And I've been doing mortgages 14 years. I decided I like selling money better than the other things I sold. And it's how to win friends and influence people. That's the Bible on how to be a good person. That's the Bible on how to build quality relationships. It's an amazing book by Carnegie. And if you're so stressed out and worried and miserable, but you have good people skills and you have the philosophy of law of success or Think and Grow Rich, or there's nothing better than those two, both written by the same guy. Law of Success is the big version of Think and Grow Rich, you could say. And I'm a master Mason, but the Masons and the Brotherhood stopped them putting out the Law of Success, dumbed it down, and came out with Think and Grow Rich several years later. Those are facts. And anyways, relationships are everything. So now let me breeze through this super fast. And I'll show you how I'm able to do the volume of business I do, keep everyone happy, and keep getting more. And I'm always willing to sit down with someone if they're like, wow, that could apply to my life or my business or whatever. I'll show them how. And can people see the screen pretty good at this size?
Yeah.
Pretty good? Okay, awesome. All right. I live within Google Docs, Gmail, Dropbox. Love it, change your life, nothing's better, trust me. And I live within spreadsheets. When I first get a lead, I throw them into my contact management program. I'll enter their data. I then immediately go to my agent and client spreadsheet. This has, can it be seen? No. This has my, here's the agent name, their contact info, the clients they've referred me, and I have red agents, yellow agents, and blue agents. And these aren't in any in particular order, but the red agents I care about and love, and some obviously give more business than others. And then I have the yellow agents that are good, they're like up and coming, they're all right. And then I have the blue agents that I hope I never hear from again. But what this enables me to do is track any lead that ever comes into me ever, and if the realtor wants to know about every single person they've ever given me, or they want to know all of the people's contact info, I can copy it, send it over to them in a heartbeat. If they're a micromanager, have to know everything about everything, I can click this share button, enter in their email address, give them access to it with no editing rights, and they can stare at it all day long if they like And it's just fascinating technology.
Good system.
Yeah, well, that's nothing. Wait till you see the next part. So once I capture them into Google Contacts, which syncs to the iCloud and to Google and all that, so it's on all of my devices all the time, always, for the rest of my life, I then enter them into the spreadsheet to capture them. They then go into files by priority. Does that show up good?
Yes.
Okay. That has, just to go over, and because realtors, mortgage people, you may want to consider something like this. You have the client name, the agent that referred you the business, the contact information for the agents involved and the client, all right there. Your staff and realtors can have access to this as well. You can assign whether they can edit or whether they can just view it. You enter in your close of escrow date. Google will do a close of escrow date countdown. It's very simple, so you always know how many days until that deal has to close. If the rate's locked, I have it green. If it's not locked, it's red. If it's locked, I put the date that it's there. I put if it's an FHA refi, if it's a conventional, or whatever the case, the sales price, and then I have the loan amounts. Right here's Tamara Abernathy, my right hand. I would die without her. She's an amazing woman. She's fantastic. And every day she puts her notes in and pushes the file forward as much as it can go, and every morning we have a conference call to go over all of these files. I also every day update my notes to keep her and the processor, Karina, and Tamara's starting to process a few for extra money. They put their notes in so we can all communicate through this system and always be able to go back as far back as we want. Like this person, I guarantee it's Nigerian. Yep. Bodu. They're always horrible. No, I'm just kidding. They're just very difficult. I shouldn't say that, but it's just the truth. And, so when I get the lead, they go into hot leads. These are all the leads I've gotten the last few days. After they're not a hot lead anymore, I put them into prospects. And I keep my notes until I get them. What I then do is send out a template email that goes out, always the same, and it's greeting and required documentation needed for pre-approval. It was a pleasure speaking with you, enter name. Good afternoon, you enter the name, and then it lists everything that I need, and I am thorough. I get everything. And then I attach these 3 documents: borrower signature authorization, what I call a fast application. It asks them like 10 simple questions. It is the only questions needed to complete a loan application, which I do not do and haven't done for years. My staff enters that stuff in. I also have them fill this out so we have their credit card and information for when we do need it to order the appraisal or anything that might need to be done, the work number or whatever the case may be. That email goes out to the clients. When the client's documents come in, it moves up to initial setup. That's when my staff make sure that all of the documentation has came in. Anything that's missing, they sent 2010 but not 2011 tax returns. It's requested of the individual. Mr. Walmsley's went through this process by chance. Is it pretty efficient?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty efficient. And so when they send in all of their documentation, it goes into Dropbox, and in Dropbox, I have Brandon Hawkinson's DFG clients. All these are just mine, but these are clients, and I can go into their in particular situation and pull up all of their assets, pull up all of their income, and me and my processor and my transaction coordinator and assistant all have access to all of these documents at all times. So throughout the entire process, as we get approval, escrow, this, that, whatever the case may be, it's forevermore captured in a Dropbox and shared with the appropriate people that need to have instant access from their phone, their iPad, their computer, at any and all times forever. After initial, when it goes through initial setup, that's when we pre-approve them and we max them out, make sure we get underwritten DU, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac approval, address all the crazy variables. There is no simple financing. I deal with a lot of big money people, and they're the most complex. And you can never pre-approve someone over the phone. If you do, you're a fool, because they might say, yeah, I make 220 grand a year, W-2, boom, no problem. You get their tax returns, and they got 110 grand in 2106 expenses, and their wife they're married to lost 80 grand on their home business last year. Well, that income you thought you had, you sent your realtor out there looking for a house, you just wasted your realtor's time. I guarantee you're going to lose that realtor to a guy like me shortly. So you have to be thorough. Once they're done in initial setup, I move them down to pre-approved. All these people in yellow are pre-approved, loaded guns, looking for a house. Below that, I have inactive. Below that, the closed file section. Once they're in pre-approveville, I issue out a pre-approval letter along with the underwriting approval to the realtor and the client. That way the realtor's likelihood of getting an offer accepted by a bank goes up exponentially because they see a straight up underwriting approval, and it works very well. I know for a fact some realtors in Nevada use me just because of all the big dog listing agents I know and work with. I work with their buyer agents, but to hook their buyer agents I had to hook the listing gods. Well, it increases the likelihood of their offers getting accepted if the pre-approval letters from me. And so when the offer comes in, it moves up from pre-approved into processing. Offer accepted, processing, this section here. These are all the deals we recently got offers accepted on that are going through processing. Once they're done with processing and they're submitted to underwriting, it goes up to in underwriting and clearing conditions. These are all the files we have in underwriting that we're clearing conditions. In closing is once docs go out, and these 2 files funded and recorded, and my note was, woohoo, you know, yesterday it funded and recorded. Well, no, it was today that it funded and recorded. I was just happy yesterday when it said cleared and ready for funding tomorrow. I didn't update any of my notes today. I'm allowed to do that. So I basically have in closing, and so from top to bottom, first thing in the day, I just make sure everything from in closing on down through initial setups is handled with my staff and processor. And then below that, I just have to work my simple little hot leads to get their documentation in, the prospects. This is a fascinating section. If someone's not qualified right now, but I know that 3 months more on the job, they're going to be a deal, I move them into what I call my future deals section. Like, if I go to the bottom of it, this person, 4/2 of 2013, 215 days from now, I promise you I will call, I know Yoakum, and I'll get him financing. I'll then hand him back to the realtor that gave him to me. No realtor did, he's a personal friend, that's, I'm the agent on that, some of them are my leads or whatever. But you hand these deals back to the agent, and you really secure a good relationship, because realtors are piss poor at follow-up. No offense, they don't have good systems, and they don't follow up very well.
Yep.
That's the general MO in real estate,
Yep.
and it costs them a fortune. If they had this, they would never lose track of anything.
Right.
I'm not losing any money. I look at my future deal section, that's about 400 grand when all these houses are financed. That's low side, it's probably more than that. And so I just follow up, like, you know, well, if it's Brown, I've been contacting these people, but like 2 days from now, I'm going to be calling Tracy Morrow, because she told me to call her in 3 months, or no, her credit was really bad, and I advised her on what she should do to fix it. So that's files by priority. That's what FBP stands for. I just think it's a fascinating way to track and follow up and always know where you're at, and now and again, call all your people that are out shopping. And when a future deal, you know, Google equation says it's time to call these people, start calling them and getting them.
It's all on Google.
I live within Google Docs. This, now they call it Drive, but it's Google Docs or Google Drive, whatever you want to call it. And it's just a miracle. It'll change your life. So I live within my email, my calendar, and this is Google Calendar, which is fascinating, and it merged with your Apple Calendar, or Outlook, or whatever. But yeah, it's all Google Drive, but I use Gmail. I don't like clutter. I have a few folders I keep things in, but I deal with things when they're done. Agents and clients tracks every agent, every deal I've gotten, and you know, file by priority. You know where everybody's always at. And then the only thing else is calendar, contact management system. This is Directors Financial Group, the company I work for. We do a lot of things in-house. Most of my deals I do in-house, but I'm a broker at heart and always will be. And this is a list of the companies that we can broker to. Bank of the Internet, Bay Equity, Clear Vision Funding, CMG, Coastal Lending Group, Country Place, Creative Funding, FPF, Icon, Luther Burbank, Mountain West, Nations Direct, New Penn, Pacific Union Financial, Parkside, Plaza, on and on and on. SunWest, well, and a handful of, a lot of these we have in-house correspondent banking, so I would do it as a banker rather than brokering it to it. But if the owner of my company puts a restriction on our in-house banking lines for this company, then I have to broker it to them, if that makes sense. I mean, sometimes I get too techie talk, but in a nutshell, that's my little system I'm so proud of, and it changed my life and makes it easy to have 18 deals in escrow and not want to blow your head off. How would you feel if you had 18 in escrow? How would the realtors feel? You'd want to die. But if you had a real good system, and you had, and then the person's almost more important, but I don't know which one's more important. They're both equally important, okay? Yeah.
How's the security system?
If a hacker's pissed at me, I'm good as screwed, I'm sure, you know. No, I am. My former business partner was Microsoft Systems certified engineer and explained to me very clearly, no one is not susceptible to hacking except maybe NSA and DOD, and he thinks he can get into DOD. So, and he can hack into a lot of systems. He showed me he was an interesting man, to say the least, but nobody's ever secure. And I don't think they're theorists, I'm a conspiracy realist. I like to learn. I know a lot of people with too much time and money on their hands that have studied different subjects, but can I be fearful that people are going to tap into my Dropbox? No, I don't care. If it happens, it happens. It's all backed up on my primary anyways, and I'm backed up on my time machine, back blaze. Every year I put an external in my grandma's attic. I'm a redundant weirdo when it comes to data. So if someone hacks in and gets some stuff, take it, you know, whatever. They get into my Gmail, so be it. But redundancy and backed up and whatnot, I'm as secure as I feel I need to be. If they're going to get Google, am I going to build something better than Google? Shit, no! Am I going to build something better than Dropbox, the #1 document sharing service in the world now?
No.
Probably not. I don't have those coffers. Can I use the best of the best in the world? Sure. They happen to be free. Well, I pay Google $50 a year for, well, a few different $50 a year for, they'll host your email. Like I log into Gmail, it's Brandon at BrandonHopkinson.com, but they host my website, or they do something with my website, and something with my emails, and it was worth doing. I was advised, so I pay them $50 a year with a smile on my face. I love them. Love them.
That's the Google spread, you still have to control it like
Yeah.
access.
Yeah, but if you give me 3 deals that aren't real grindy, you know, horrible clients, I can meet with you in person, and then I could share it with you, wipe out my data, and you would have the system, and you could plug the fields in the way you want.
Yeah, talk of the date, that's
That's very cool, huh? You like that? So the system enables me to be able to answer my phone, communicate with people, structure and pre-qualify people accurately. And what do I really do? I delegate. I got people smarter than me that work for me. I just know how to figure it out. I know what to have them do. That way I can always be getting more business and going to the beach and living my little dream life that I designed. But without the right systems and staff, you will never have your dream life. You got to have Bill Gates on the beach type of money. Like, I mean, your burn rate has to exceed. Anyway, so conclusion, the system allows me to take little calls, take client calls, structure deal, give presentations, as well as deal with any other issues. Here's the Vegas and Santa Barbara market update. It's on fire. It's a bidding war out there. It's by design. Every state issued legislation that halted the notice of defaults going out in all counties, which created a false market that we're now living in. And this is just my opinion. I don't know if it's helpful or hurtful for, what's that?
When did they do that?
In Nevada, they did it last year with AB 284. I don't even know what the name of the one is here in California, but I know it exists just because the same thing's happening
When you say
here.
they halted, but there's more coming.
There's more coming. In Nevada, they did AB 284, which took our notice of default, the amount of people getting foreclosed on each month, getting issued, and they're going to lose their house, and that takes a long time to foreclose in Las Vegas. But the notice of default is about $3 grand a month. Now they're 15 to 25.
Really?
Our inventory went from 12,000 units to we're rocking 2,800 to 3,000. In a city of 1.5, well, depends on what source and who you ask. I don't argue with anybody. I don't give a shit. There could be 1 million, there could be 2 million. You hear everything in between. But Vegas and Henderson combined is about that many, and we should be foreclosing on a lot more people. Now, once we get maybe a different political person in or whatever might happen. And I work with Jared Jones, is the #1 realtor in the state of Nevada. This guy sold over 1,000 houses last year. Made about $6.5 million and wrote a damn book. I got it in my car by chance. Autograph it. No, but he's one of my realtors. I deal with his buyer's agent, Keith Thompson, and them. He was telling me, and when you make that kind of money, you do that kind of business. And he's an REO agent. Okay, he's doing short sales and traditional sales now, but because REO's dried up. But he didn't go wide with a bunch of REO companies. He went extremely deep through the right systems and staff is how we hit it off. Plus his love of audiobooks, the same ones I love. Well, we hit it off because of that, really. But anyway, and then we got into systems later after we knew each other for a while. But what he tells me is after the November election, and I imagine it would hold true here, they're going to start trickling the inventory back in to where within 6-7 months we should get back to normal inventory levels if they go full bore. And that means the game changes again. And the game's going to keep changing, but the game is good. If you're in mortgages or real estate and you're working hard right now, there's more money to be made than ever. I truly feel that way. And right now in Santa Barbara and in Vegas and most of the country, real estate's appreciating. Right? So if you can pick stuff up, pick it up. The money's near free. And that's my spiel. Now, any questions that anybody may have, and see if you can stump me. I'll give you $1 if you do.
In Las Vegas, when I look at the listings in Julia, and when I call the broker to take a look at, they are listed for sale, but they are always not available, but it's still listed for sale, like Trulia and what, Redfin.
I can't speak to Trulia, Zillow, Craigslist, and those things. I do pay for a handful of realtors.
Yeah.
I'm not proud, but I am proud. I don't know. I pay for BS ads that realtors run in the Review Journal in Vegas and different cities in Orange County. These houses don't exist, but they generate a lot of phone calls.
That's right.
That's right.
And these realtors sell a lot of houses.
That's right, so how
It's
do
worth the money.
you read the offers?
I don't. I finance real people that are sick to me, and I could give a